Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And welcome back to the Crypto Analyst live stream, where we go over technical analysis, we go over the main market sentiment, and we really explain and I give my opinion on what I think is happening in this market, because it can get confusing at times, and I do like to express my thoughts and really how I'm working all of this. And so I'm going to be taking technical analysis requests from you guys, the viewers, and answer any questions that you guys do have along the way of expressing my own thoughts on Bitcoin and a few of the altcoins here. So let's go ahead and get this started, and we will get right into the action on Bitcoin. So first things first, as always, I do like to send out the alert. So I'm going to go ahead and update this real fast and make sure I do send out the alert to everyone in the Discord, and then we'll get this thing on the road. But welcome to everyone who is joining, making sure my chat is up as well. Mr. Wow, welcome in here. Matt, welcome in here. Great to have you guys. Welcome, welcome. Currently sending this out. And then we'll be good to go over here. So we're going to send this out to the Twitter followers. And then we're going to send this out to the people in the Discord. Fix my mic a little bit, and I think we're good to go. Awesome. So welcome, everybody. Make sure I have this on correctly. And there we go. So welcome, everybody. I know the live stream does take a little bit for us to get set up, but yeah, looking at Bitcoin over here, I think it's pretty clear. I want to, I guess, wait a little bit before we get too far into this, because I do want to make sure people have the proper chance to join in here and get into the live stream before I really break this down. But the one thing that I want to highlight as you guys are all joining is the fact that there could very well be a potential pennant on Bitcoin over here. Now, of course, I am looking at this on the 4 hours paired to Coinbase Exchange up here. This is my favorite thing to chart Bitcoin on, and I think ever since I switched this over from, Bitfinex or Bittrex or Bitstamp or any of those guys, I really think my trading has increased. Now, I'm not saying that it is the best exchange to make your trades off of, but I think it works the best for my style, and I personally like it the most. So if you see me using this one the most, that's probably why. But looking at this, I think it's very possible that you could be forming a pennant here. Now, the one thing that really has me upset about this idea is this giant gap that we have. If this is a symmetrical triangle, well, why in the world do we have this gap up here, right? It's not something that I don't know. It's not very clean, and I don't like it. I think the support is great. You've seen, phenomenal test of support in this area, going all the way back over here, testing this area, then testing this one, then testing this one. And so if this is the case, and we actually just broke down out of this, and this is a pennant, arguably the measured move would be in the least to the 200 EMA, if not even lower to previous lows over here in this range, or maybe even the bottom of this overall uptrend. Now, I'm not saying it's all set and certain and death and gloom and doom, but if this is a pennant and this is respected, I think in the least you'll see the 200 EMA be touched. I think you'll probably blow through this little bit of support if you do break down here, and you'll get into this area of previous support, previous swing low over here before you go any lower. Now, it's kind of unique. I was hoping that the 200 EMA would line up a little bit more with previous support, and it'll be close, but it's definitely going to be above it. So I think you're going to have the 200 EMA along with previous support being in relatively similar areas. So if this does break down, you're going to have to test both of these zones separately instead of having to test them together. Awesome. Welcome, Wow. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Someone's Better. Hassam, AD. Leonard Gonzalez, welcome. Matt says XRP to the USDT and TRX to the USDT. Will do, Matt. Been a while since I caught a live stream. Good stuff. Yo, welcome back, Hassam. AD hit me with the fist bump. I like it. Leonard says Ripple XRP over 200 partnerships, no movement. GRS, one partnership, over 150% gain. Same with Engine, scratched my head. Can you explain? Yes, I can, Leo. So the way, and then we're actually moving down right now as we're talking. I am trading as we are going live. It's something I've started doing more because I found myself trading more often, and I don't know, I kind of enjoy it. But yeah, anyway, moving back to the live stream. So the reason, Leo, that you have Ripple with over 200 partnerships and only making 150% gain, not really moving that much when a new one gets announced, and when these newer ones, is really two reasons. And the first one being that people are used to the XRP news. People are used to hearing XRP's got another partnership. So the wow factor of this has really kind of started rubbing off. And so when you say something has a partner enough, eventually people are going to stop caring as much because it's not as big of a deal. Whereas for these other tokens that really don't have a big partnership, when they get their first big partnership, it is significantly more of a big deal because of the fact that they have never hit anything like that. So essentially what it is them hitting a new milestone. And that is why you see these coins spike, more volatility when you have fundamental analysis news coming out, such as a new partnership. And the second reason being that they are a lower market cap coin, which means that the price moves easier and that they are more easily manipulated. So when that news does come out, since the market cap is, significantly lower than that of XRP, the news will affect it just that much more. So news that would only affect XRP in, say, 2% might push Engine or something 20%. So it might be 10 times more volatile because they have a tenth of the market cap. And so that's something that you have to understand when going into and looking at these guys, is that if it has the tenth of the market cap, it can be, 10 times more volatile, because what would push XRP 2%, if that same money were to be put into something that has a tenth of the market cap, would move it 20%. And so that's how market cap works. So again, since it has a lower market cap, it has a significantly larger opportunity to be more volatile because less money can move it more in percentage. So hopefully that made sense. If it doesn't, be sure to let me know. What if BTC breaks 3,800? Will we go down insanely hard? So I think the answer to that question is ultimately no, not insanely. So I don't think we have this parabolic run up, but I do see two levels of support if we break 3,800 on Coinbase. And if we break 3,800 on Coinbase, this is something I was breaking down to the Patreons earlier. If you guys want to check that out, linked in the description down below. But this is something I was explaining to them earlier in my Bitcoin update. And I was saying, if we do break this area, and I did say, yeah, I think I did list my downside targets. And so what I was saying is that you really have a couple areas. You have this one, which I don't see as strong. This is just a single candle wick, and I don't see this area as very strong, but it is a previous low below this. So I did throw it in there because it does work in coherence with these little wicks over in here as well. But besides this guy, I think that you would blow right through this. It's possible that it stops at around 37.70. I don't think it's very likely. And I think what is significantly more likely is that you come down here and touch your 200 EMA. And if you were to come down into this area and touch your 200 EMA, I'm not sure if you count this as an insanely hard dump, but this is only a dump of about $50. So if that is big to you because you use high leverage, then yes, it would be a giant dump. But for the most part, I would say the macro says no. And in addition to this, you also have previous lows around here, which is about $50 below your EMA. So you would probably have, if this does break, you'd probably drop about $50 to your 50 EMA, or excuse me, your 200 EMA. And then if your 200 EMA breaks, you'll probably drop another $50 to previous support down here. Now, if this breaks, that's when you could actually really start dumping, because this is where you start losing support and you start having large gaps, because then the next layers of support that you have are really only here and here. And those are really your final two supports. So if you break this zone over here of like 36.90, then I think that this thing really could start going parabolically downwards. And we are moving pretty decently at the moment to the downside. Also, yeah, so actually let me talk about that a little bit more here. So if we do break this area, I'm immediately saying, all right, well, what's underneath this area? And then immediately my eyes turn over to this consolidation range. And this consolidation range, which was support, will now be, or which was resistance, will now be support. So if this comes back down over here, you would imagine that it would stop probably somewhere in the range of like 3,600, because again, that's where this consolidation, what was resistance, will now turn into support. Besides that, I think you just have to worry about the overall macro, and I think this was the final target that I listed on Patreon, saying that if this does come down over here, what you have to look at is probably this $3,500 range, probably somewhere around 3,485, 3,490, somewhere around that range, where if this does come all the way back down here, what you have to do is look at the macro trend and say, well, hopefully that support holds, because if it doesn't, it could turn into an even bigger bloodbath fairly quickly. So overall, I really don't think that this support will break, not as of now. I don't think that we have any reason to believe that we'll even get down to this level yet. There's really not some sort of crazy divergence so far. So when I'm looking at this, I don't see anything like really crazy on Bitcoin over here. You know, there's nothing telling me that this is just going to pump. There's nothing telling me that this is going to dump. I think that there is a good argument for both, but they have nothing to do with really your indicators or oscillators. I am looking at this. This is another thing I was talking to the Patreons about today in our update, that if we get down to this level over in here, what this does is actually present a decent longing opportunity, because if we can set a higher low on our 4-hour RSI chart, you know, a higher swing low, what that would do is set us up for double bullish divergence. And this is essentially what I've been posting over here in the Patreon chart as well, and using this as my indicator to short and long Bitcoin, not, you know, as the sole reason as to why I'm shorting it, but if everything else looks bearish and this thing is forming triple bearish divergence, I feel safe shorting it. And so that's exactly what it did. This was the box and this was our line, came up, just barely hit our circle and touched our line, and then, you know, it really started going downhill from there. Came back up, had a lower swing high again, and then it really took some turns towards the downside. And so that hit perfectly, you know, barely, you know, I would say maybe not perfectly, but it definitely hit the line and it went inside our circle here. So target was definitely hit, and this thing dropped pretty sharply following that. I did think it was going to hit it a little bit sooner. It hit a little bit late, but, you know, nonetheless, it was in our zone, or my zone rather. So same things over here, pretty much the inverse, saying that if we see higher swing highs upon, higher swing lows over here, essentially saying that we have higher lows, what this does is set up double bullish divergence for me, and saying that if we swing back low and we have a higher swing low, what this shows me is that there's lower levels of negative momentum coming into Bitcoin, and this would signify me that the bears are getting weaker in this area, and thus I would probably long this area because of the fact that the bulls are getting weaker upon a swing low, and generally what that does is create, you know, decent buying pressure over here, because the bulls recognize that the bears are weaker in this area, and that they are weaker upon the swing low, and the bears get scared and the bulls get more confident, and it tends to drag price up. All right, let's read through chat a little bit. What if Bitcoin breaks 3,800? I think I went through that one. Tintin Crypto says YOLO. I've heard that a lot. I think Otter was saying that in Discord a couple days ago. 100x YOLO. Should I sell all now and buy in later? I cannot answer that question for you. And Leo, I'm glad I was able to answer that question for you. I can't answer that for you, dude. I can't tell you where to buy and sell and all that, and it's just not what I'm allowed to do. But, you know, you have to do your own research. Personally, I am not selling any of my Bitcoin. I'll short Bitcoin, but I personally would never sell any of my Bitcoin because I believe in it long term, and I think that this is a very cheap price to what it could be in 5 to 10 years from now. So there's no reason why I would sell at something this cheap, and that's why I refuse to sell any of my Bitcoin, you know, probably for a little while. John Smith, welcome. Great to have you in here. Deg Lado said, "Man, you are always wrong about indicators because you don't respect the indicators. Look at the stock RSI weekly and the daily crossovers." Yeah, we could take a look at the stock RSI. I see. Here's the deal, though. I have my stochastics here, and I like using the stochastics and the RSI separately. I know that it's a whole separate indicator, but I like the RSI. Again, a lot of this is preference too. So I like using the RSI and the stochastics and the MACD as my three main forms of indicators, along with my 200, my 50 EMA, and my volume, just on default setting. So, I mean, I don't underestimate. I think you said I underestimate. I don't respect the indicators. I don't know. I actually really do respect indicators. I really like indicators a lot, and if you followed me a lot, you'd know that I use them a ton. And probably almost every trade I enter, I talk about the indicators, and they contribute to why I enter and exit positions. But I don't know. I think the stochastics RSI just isn't for me. I just don't like it personally. I know some people really do, but I just don't. I like the RSI more. I think it gives me better divergence and better information for my trading style. Not to say that it doesn't for yours, but for my personal style of trading, I do like using the RSI more than the stochastics RSI. And I've tried the stochastics RSI. It's not bad. It's just, again, it's just preference. I just like this. This fits my trading style more, and that's why I use it. And I still have my stochastics down here, so that's just my thoughts on that. I heard that there is a special announcement for XRP on the 15th of March. Anyone heard of it as well? I have not heard of it. Weekly stochastics RSI has never failed once. Let's check it out then. Here we go. Weekly. So, is this what you're talking about, Deg? This bulky boy. Could you look at that? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Bitcoin here, and then we're going to take a look at, someone was talking about, I think Matt wanted me to do XRP and TRX, and then we'll take a look at BAT as well. I'm actually owning BAT. So you said yes. So Deg, so if I'm looking at this, this is telling me that it is, you know, probably a decent selling point. Again, not to say that not to say that the sole reason of it being oversold wants to make me sell, but the fact that it very commonly gets to this area and gets rejected in this area is a bearish thing for me. So if I'm looking at it and saying, well, it's gotten rejected in this area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you know, in the past, or what is that? Yeah, 5. Yeah, so 5 times in the past. And it's actually starting to curve downward right here. Not to say that it can't go any higher, but again, this generally would say to me that your stochastics RSI wants to come down from this. And that's just doing historical analysis and just fundamental analysis saying that it's just oversold, right? It's oversold in a popular area where it gets rejected. It's gotten rejected. It hasn't really gone above this point forever. And yeah, I guess literally in forever, at least not on this chart pairing. And if it's rounding downwards here, then, you know, somewhat bearish. Let's go ahead and move this back to the 4-hour and finish up our Bitcoin technical analysis before we move on to some of the altcoins. I am actually going to go ahead and revert this back to my RSI. Might be a little bit. All right, there we go. So going back to our 4-hour chart over here, someone says XLM. We'll take a look at XLM as well. That was another monster trade. So yeah, so basically, let's talk about this. Actually, we have to go to the daily for this. So moving this over to the daily, what this red line is overbearing resistance. I want to make sure people are aware of why that's there. Of course, just overbearing resistance over the entirety of this bear market. So if you guys see the red line, that is the reason why it's there. And making this thing a little bit larger. With that being overbearing resistance, there's really 2 arguments in here. Sorry if that was harsh. You did a great job. Thanks. Yeah, no, Deg. You know, I didn't think you were trying to be mean or anything at all. That's the thing, is I'm completely willing to answer questions, man. No disrespect. You know, I love the fact that people even, you know, ask questions or challenge me or whatever, dude. I actually appreciate it. So what we're looking at, yeah, so there's really 2 arguments in this range, and there is the bullish complete breakout argument, and then there is the breakdown argument. And the breakout argument is essentially just saying this, that there is such little resistance in this area that if we break this current range, what we'll be able to do is, if we can get through this range over here, then we would pretty much go straight back up to our previous top. And if we go straight back up to our previous top, we're at the top of an ascending triangle. And if we're at the top of an ascending triangle, our chances of breaking out are nice because it's a very bullish formation and continuation pattern. So basically, it's kind of this avalanche effect and it really all depends on if you can break this range. Because it's, if you can break this range, then you go straight back up the previous resistance. And if you go straight back up the previous resistance, and this is an ascending triangle, your odds of breaking out are pretty good. And if this breaks out, we'll go back to the daily to show it. And if this breaks out, what you have here is, I'm on the wrong tool. And what you have here is pretty much no resistance blocking this thing until you get around $5,500, because you're looking all in here, and I know I've explained this before, but there just really is no significant resistance until you hit around 5,500. So that's what the whole bullish theory is, and I understand that, and it makes sense, to be honest. And that really depends on if you break this first range over here. And if you do, again, it's a very bullish thing. But if you can't, then none of the rest of this avalanche effect happens. Now, the bearish theory is that this red line that I showed you, the overall resistance line, if this gets rejected here, this could be a very, very bearish thing. And every time we've even touched this line in the past, it has led to significant downfalls in price action, even as of recently, because we've touched it recently and we dropped all the way from $4,175 all the way back down to like $3,653. So it caused about $150 drop, which is, in this state, pretty decent sized move for us. I know a lot of people were able to make a lot of money off of this. I think I made around 175% off that drop. Shorting Ethereum. I was shorting Ethereum instead of Bitcoin because there was just more money to be made. But like, again, for us, that's a lot of movement. Maybe back over here, this wouldn't have been nearly as much, but in this range, that was a lot of movement for us. So the theory states that we actually do get rejected from this resistance again. As you can kind of see on the daily, we get rejected, and then this thing falls all the way back down to either 1, support, or 2, we fall back down to previous bottom. And if we fall back down to the previous bottom, a lot of people say that we even break that. So this is really one of two ways at this point. And I do think that if we break this area and we don't get caught on our 200 EMA or our 50 EMA on our 1-day chart, which is right here, then I think trouble could be a brewing. Now, we're above our 50 EMA still, so it's not that bad, but in the short term, you do have to be careful. I was talking to someone right before the live stream, and I was telling him, and I was telling the Patreons this too. I've been telling the Patreons this for, the past couple of days. I am not trading Bitcoin in this range. It's extremely risky, and it's just not worth it. You have Binance going offline right now, which in the next 12 hours, you could have something crazy happen. You could not. I don't really want to deal with it, to be honest. I think I would much rather be trading some altcoins right now, and which I've been doing, and it has worked out, significantly more, not only because the altcoins are moving more right now, and there's a lot more money to be made in them, but also because of the fact that Bitcoin is just too unpredictable in this range, and I don't want to get stuck in a position where if I'm longing, it just breaks parabolically downwards, and there's really no good area to set a stop loss, and I don't want to short here because, well, I don't know, I don't really want to short here because, I couldn't keep that type of a stop loss either. I'd probably have to keep like a fairly fat stop loss, and I just don't like doing that. So I don't know. I just don't see this as. And another thing is looking at this from the 4-hour. Some of your stuff starting to round off over here, like your MACD, and what happened to my stochastics RSI? Dang it, or not my stochastics RSI, my stochastics. There it is. Oh man, I think I have to redo my settings. But yeah, so your RSI is coming back down to previous support, and if it does set up double bullish divergence down here, again, a very large potential for this thing to break significantly towards the upside. And our stochastics actually down here rounding off, and potentially wanting to head back upwards as well. So if all of these things are getting overextended towards the bearish side and want to actually curve up, the fact that all of these indicators are so low is making me think that it is, maybe more likely that we do bounce here, but this again looks like rejection on your candle chart. So it's hard to say. I don't want to trade this area. It could go very harshly one way or another, and I can make more money right now trading altcoins than I could trading Bitcoin. So that's just simply why I'm not trading Bitcoin at the moment. Moving on to, I think it was XRP to the USD. And of course, if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask. I love answering questions and interacting with you guys. So we got XRP to the USDT, and then we got TRX and BAT and XLM. We got lots of fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to try to go through these kind of fast because there are like a ton of requests lined up. All right. So XRP to the, okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to chart this to the US dollar because I already have this all charted up. So what we have over here is a classic pennant. I mean, you've just been riding the support area for like a while. We can adjust this just like a little bit more, I guess. This is, maybe we actually have to adjust this just a tad bit more. So originally I had it like this, I think. And that made sense because, I mean, that worked just as well. Excuse me, geez, I can't talk. That worked just as well. You could just draw it right over here and use these wicks instead. It really doesn't make too much of a difference. I mean, it makes less than a cent difference. I think it makes like a 1/10 of a cent difference. So if that matters to you, then by all means, draw this up differently. But for me, again, this is a 1/10 of a cent in here. So I don't really think it makes that big of a difference to me. But who knows? Maybe if you're on high leverage, it does. So either way, regardless of that, the point here is that you are getting closer to support. And I think it's very obvious because you've seen this area over in here used as support. And you've had this touched numerous times, of course, like 1, you can count this as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now you're looking at 7. So if it keeps touching this relative support area over and over again, what this would do is lean me again toward the idea of potentially longing XRP to the US dollar because of the fact that it's so close to support. And if it actually falls any more here, it would really lean me towards a good buying opportunity. Because if it gets anywhere in this zone over here, what I'm able to do is, again, set a tight stop loss. And so that if this does break down, it's, actually I need to adjust this just a little bit more. So if this does break down, I can have a very good risk versus reward ratio. So yeah, so again, this is my XRP chart. Looking at your indicators, doesn't look too bad for me. No really significant information. If this was rounding up, it could be a pretty bullish scenario, but right now you're just seeing like lower highs upon swing highs on your RSI. Your MACD, on the other hand, if it rounds here, would be pretty bullish. And your stochastics is low but not rounding. If it rounds here, you'd have like double bullish divergence on your stochastics. No really significant divergence anywhere besides the fact that it's getting close to support. So if it gets close enough to support down here, I don't know, can I long XRP to the USD on BitMax? No, I can't. It's BTC pairing. Well, I wonder, yeah, so I don't know, that's a BTC pairing, not the, whatchamacallit pairing, not the USD pairing. So if we're looking at resistance, where would I see it hitting it from here if this does hit support? So let's just say that it does hit support, it does bounce here, where do I see it hitting? Immediately I'm looking back to my EMAs. You'll actually, if you do see a nice spike in price volume here, you'll actually see a golden cross on your 4-hour. Not that significant. If it was on your daily chart, I think it would be a lot cooler, a lot better. But I think my computer might have froze. But yeah, so immediately what I would be doing is looking towards the EMAs over here. And then after the EMAs, I would be looking actually at the top of resistance over here. So you could see a little nice run in your price, up to probably 32, 33 cents if it sees a rally point over here. So nothing too crazy. Again, no crazy spikes in price. But if it breaks out of this thing, that's where things could really get spicy. And you could see XRP hitting back up into this previous consolidation range over here. All right, let's go through chat. Ew, ads. I know who Duncan is. You think Duncan doesn't let me know who you are? If you guys don't know, okay, actually, I probably can't say, but welcome, Dubs. XLM, yes, sir. When BTC goes down, altcoins go down. Why are altcoins better to trade? Isn't it more dangerous? So yeah, so it's more dangerous, but it's risk versus reward. It's higher risk but higher reward. So Bitcoin's lower risk, so it's lower reward, and because the altcoins have a lower market cap, it makes them move up and down more volatile, and so, sorry, sorry, I don't know why. I need to give some people wrenches. I don't know why, but it's making me review comments that aren't even like, I don't understand. So the reason that they move more is because essentially their market cap's lower, which means the price is impacted over less amounts of money. It moves more volatile because the market cap is lower in that coin. So the altcoins right now, if you haven't noticed, it's been like a mini altcoin season recently, and altcoins have just been booming. I mean, you take a look at, what was it? It was, like XLM is one of the good ones. So we're pretty much done with XRP again. Could be entering into a potential good long area for me. Not sure if I'm going to take this because I'd have to trade it off of Bitcoin pairing instead of US dollar pairing. But, in theory, this it doesn't look too bad to me. As long as it holds support here, it could see some nice upside. Not sure if I'm going to be trading it, but, actually, if there's nothing else to trade here, I might actually give it a shot. The other one, let's just go to XLM right now because it has just been incredible. So XLM, obviously just overperforming here. And this is just one of the many examples that's been going on recently because the altcoins have just been booming. You've had them just exploding in the recent, time periods, and XLM is one of them. I think like BAT was another one, BitTorrent token, Engine, like there's so many that have just been taking off to another level. And it's been like this little mini altcoin market, which Soy Sauce on Discord predicted would happen. But the altcoins are moving more volatile, and that's why there's more money to be made in them, and that's what I like. So yes, they are riskier, but if you like really know what you're doing, the risk versus reward is worth it for me because I'm confident in my trades in altcoins. And it has proved very beneficial recently. I think, what do we have? I traded Litecoin. I got 12% on a short, and then I traded it again. I got 14% on a short, and I'm currently shorting Cardano, and I'm up 12%. So they've been paying me nice lately. Back to chat. He said, because of you, I sold my Bitcoins 4 months ago when it was around $5,500. Thanks, man. You saved me from a harsh pain. I would sub to your Patreon if I could, maybe in the future when Bitcoin goes back up. Yo, John Smith, one, I'm really glad that I was able to like help educate you and help you. I don't know I was able to help, I guess, save you money in the long run. I would just like to say, though, as a disclaimer for everyone, that none of the info that I give in here is meant for legal or financial advice in any way. I really can't stop you guys from doing whatever you're going to do, but this is strictly for educational purposes. But in the long run, it's really good that you were able to actually save a lot of money here. So I'm really glad to hear that you were able to save a lot of money. And while the Patreon's great and everything, it's definitely not expected. It's very, appreciated, but never expected. So I'm glad to hear that, John Smith, and I'd love to see you on there in the future. 5,500. Yeah, I mean, man, you really got spared. Power to Achieve, welcome. The legend has returned. Duncan says, ew, ads. XRP on the weekly. We just went over XRP, actually. So yeah, XLM. My thoughts on XLM here is that it's actually probably ready to pull back a little bit. It's a little late. It's already started pulling back. You can see your oscillators rounding down. Your MACD is pretty much almost back down. Your RSI coming back down. And this was a very good indicator. Lower highs upon swing highs over here on your stochastics, signifying that this was losing positive momentum pretty fast. Now, where do I see this thing bouncing? Probably somewhere, if not in this, again, so it makes sense why it's bouncing in this range because you have this support over here, but then also in here because you have these supports right here. So I would say that this range would be your next downfall range, I guess, if you were to break this, because you do have a lot of candle tops over here. Previous resistance will now turn into support, and this would be my ideal range. I'm not trading XL. Actually, well, I don't know if I am, to be honest, because I don't know if I forget if I sold mine. But originally, I had an entry on the Patreon, actually right here at the red line, because this was my entry. This is something I posted in the Patreon, basically saying the entry for this would be huge. It took it a little while, but sure enough, in the long run, it has prevailed. So that was really cool. Really cool to see that one play out. It took it way longer than I thought it would though. I think the altcoins who gain the most when Bitcoin drops, a lot of these altcoins who gained a lot will also drop really hard. So there's most money to be made. So yeah, exactly. That's pretty much my exact thinking, is that if Bitcoin goes down here, these altcoins who would be overextended would be twice as overextended, and if it comes back down, you would really have those things taking big hits because they're already so high up, and if Bitcoin's really tanking, it is going to make them just that much more volatile towards the downside. So I've pretty much only been shorting. The past 5 trades I've made have all been shorts. And they've all been in profit, so I just really like shorting a bear market. That's just me. What were we going to go over next? We were going to go over TRX to the USD. I don't think I have anything over here. So Tron to the US dollar. What am I looking at? Potential downwards channel. I do want to change the color of this line, though. I don't like it white. White's usually what I use for targets, so I'm going to avoid using that here. So yeah, I would say yeah. So let's, first of all, actually, let's just screw this and turn this into a parallel channel because this looks really clean. Yeah, so here's our parallel channel over here. If this is the case, then this thing is just rubbing the heart line. You can see the heart line being used really well over here in this area for Tron. So as this is coming back down over here, oh, I guess I can't do that. So as this is coming back down over here, bounced off the bottom of the heart line, came back up, or came back up from the bottom of the channel, using this heart line pretty well, saw rejection, came back down, came back up to the heart line, also the 50 EMA on your 4-hour, and then now you're really riding in this area once again. So we'll have to see. Again, it looks like it's coming back down here, but I would assume sooner rather than later, this thing actually breaks the heart line and comes back up towards the upside because falling channels generally break out towards the upside instead of breaking down towards the downside. So although it can really bounce in this range and keep going back down over here, eventually falling channels do not break downwards out of themselves. They generally break upwards out of themselves. So eventually I think that this resistance up top will break, and we'll see that happen in Tron. Coming up from a decent run over here, though. I mean, if you look over here to the left, it's coming up from a decent run. So let this thing retrace, let it bleed out, let it consolidate for a little bit, and then I think it'll be ready to go again. Looking at our indicators and oscillators over here for Tron, it is actually, if it rounds off over here, you would actually set yourselves up for double bullish divergence on your 4-hour MACD. If this rounds off anywhere in this area, I generally like to see this thing close somewhere over here. I'd like to see it close a little bit lower before it rounds off, but if it does, I think you'd set yourself up for double bullish on your RSI as well. And your stochastics looks like if it rounds off here, it would be double bullish divergence on that as well. So ideally, it wouldn't be like the best area of value right here just because you're floating in between your heart line and the bottom of this trend line. Now, if this thing was like at the bottom of its trend line, like right over here or something, then, obviously it would be a significantly better area to long. And I was going to adjust this a little bit more, but I think it's all right. So yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't enter a trade in this area, and not unless I'm scalping. I think you can scalp this area, but like, I'm not entering any significant trades in this area. Just not worth it to me. And that is TRX. Let's go back to chat over here and see what you guys are talking about. Power to Achieve says NRG. NRG seems very interesting. Can you look it up? Yeah, for sure. I think... Yeah, wow, I missed a lot of chat. So Dubs was saying check SPND. Let's do it. SPND. What is this? Spend coin? Is this what you meant, Dubs? Oh yeah, this is the one on Bittrex that we were talking about. You can do something like this, maybe. Probably something along this line. Say it's like a falling channel. It's very unreliable though, because you have this wick and then you have, you know, a second piercing candle. Press the like and subscribe. Yeah, so if you guys are enjoying, just like Power to Achieve said, hit that like button, helps out the channel a lot. Hit the subscribe if you guys want to see more, and share the video if you really enjoy it. Find it insightful. Oh, wow, I'm missing a lot of comments. So energy, we'll look at energy next. Albert, welcome first of all, and then he says, I think everything is going to shoot back up, most likely to explode. So yeah, Albert, what we were talking about previously on Bitcoin is pretty much just that same scenario. Really, the two outcomes that are two extremes that we were looking at. You know, the explosion towards the upside versus the explosion towards the downside. And there's big evidence for both of them, which is why I'm not trading Bitcoin at the moment. Tintin says, any thoughts on Poly? Is that Polymath? Is that which one you were talking about? Use Hankshikia candles to cancel more noise. If we bounce here on SPD, likely equals huge profit. I agree. So not only is if we bounce here, but if we break out, if we bounce here at all, we would break out. So all we'd have to do is conquer our 50 EMA right here, and then also break out of this falling support line, falling support area rather. I don't know, rather than a line, I would call it an area. Then you really do actually have a nice upside potential, because then all you have to do over here is conquer this previous support, and then this thing could really start seeing the upside, because this is a falling channel, otherwise known as a bull flag. So what you have over here is a bear pull bull flag combo, and falling channels do generally, again, like I said, break out towards the upside. So if this does actually break out here, you would actually have a pretty nice upside in this coin. However, if it gets rejected here, it's going to have a very, very nasty downside, and not something you want to be a part of. You know, it would be really hard, honestly, for this thing to come back down. It would be almost worth nothing if it collapsed that hard, but it's possible. So yeah, I mean, again, this is a bull flag, bear pull. So if this was to break out right now, it would be pretty nice. You know, the profits on this would be pretty significant. And it's a lower market cap coin, so if this, you know, had any sort of volume on its breakout, it would be pretty fat. Same with same with BitTorrent token. Yeah, dude, that thing has been on fire. Albert says, nice, I hear you, same here. Yes, yes, Polymath. I kind of like Polymath. I don't own any or anything, but I think it's a good project. What did you say about it? Any thoughts on it? Chart-wise, I mean, it looks like it's rounding. Look at these crazy candles, though. These crazy wicks. So initial thought, well, I was going to say, if it can settle on top of your 200 EMA, I think that'd be a pretty good thing. It also looks like it's looking for a golden cross on your 4-hour, which would mean that when you had your death cross over here at January, at the beginning of January, or beginning of January of this year, that would be a nice little potential, like, short-term reversal. Because the last time that you had a golden cross was, you know, generally, historically, when this thing has had golden crosses, it has had nice upsides. Again, hence right here and hence right here. So those have been the two times it has had golden crosses. And yeah, so we'll see. If it does, if it can, I mean, it doesn't look that bad. It looks like it's having a rounding bottom over here and also hitting previous support. What is this wick? Oh my God. What is this? What is this? Yikes. Keep your stop losses. I mean, jeez. Oh, that's brutal. What is this on Binance? Oh my gosh. So yeah, I think for the most part though, it is definitely hitting this support area over here towards its previous bottom, and it looks like it's rounding back up towards the upside. I would say to look at this for me, I would probably have to look at it on a 1-day chart rather than. I would say short term is actually bearish. You actually saw a lower swing high on your 4-hour RSI, which is double bearish divergence for me, hence why it tanked pretty hard recently. And your stochastics doesn't look too bad. And your MACD looks like it's setting up for some downside as well. But again, I would want to take a look at this on the 1-day rather than this, because yeah, I mean, this thing has been chugging though recently. Yeah, still has room to go too. Yeah, so over here on the 1-day, you can kind of see it better. This 50 EMA has been working really good in this area, showing that when this has been a general rejection area, every time it's came kind of near the 50 EMA, just rejection. So if you could break and hold on top of this, I think it'd be really nice. But overall, just like Polymath as a project, I don't have anything bad to say about them. It seems like they're pretty hard working too. All right, back to chat. Check top S on the monthly to let me know when I should short. I don't even know what top S is. 20,000 tonight, JK. Could you imagine? Honestly, though, could you imagine if, for whatever reason, Bitcoin went to $20,000 like over the course of the next week? Like, the news media wouldn't know what to do. They literally would not. They would have no idea what they're doing. They'd be the same thing. They'd be doing the same thing that they were doing last time Bitcoin went to 20K, and they would be pulling in analysts from like stocks in real estate on Wall Street and have them talk about crypto. It would be a disaster all over again, because you had like real estate, like huge real estate guys on Wall Street, or huge like Forex guys on Wall Street who know nothing about cryptos or blockchain technology, and you'd get them in there and they'd just be like rabbling and babbling, and oh, it would be bad. You'd have the guys who'd be like, I called it the whole time, and like in reality they didn't. My mate just bought into it. Thanks, I'll let him know your thoughts. Yeah, man. So overall, though, over here again, Bitcoin's bouncing a little bit right now. I think it wicked down. What did it wick down to? I mean, for the overall, yeah, I mean, we wicked down to below. What did we wick to? Yeah, I mean, we wicked down to below 3,800, and we wicked right back up. So we'll have to see if this holds, but for the short term, looks as if it did. We have 38 minutes left on this 4-hour candle, so we'll have to see where this goes after this. It would be kind of cool to see a little bit of a pump back up to resistance and then have this thing come down. I think that would be pretty textbook for me, but yeah, I don't know, there's not too much. I don't know, I'm probably overanalyzing it at this point. BAT, yes. Someone else mentioned BAT. BAT to BTC. You mean like Warren Buffett? Dude, that guy hates Bitcoin. He, oh. Hello. That guy isn't he the one who called it rat poison? I've listened to him because he's obviously a very rich guy. But I think the mistake that people make is that just because he's really good at what he does doesn't mean he can talk about things that he doesn't know what he's talking about. So he's really good. He was really good at stocks and creating his company, right? And he's really good at it. So props to him. But he does not understand blockchain technology. And he tries to act like it's not there and understand cryptos. And I've seen him. I've listened to him a lot talk about the subject. And it pains me because he says things that just aren't true. And he tries to justify it. And it's brutal listening to someone who acts like they know what they're talking about when it comes to blockchain And in reality, they just don't, especially someone that's as smart as him. So, like, I don't know. It is, this thing is not looking too hot. It's frustrating to say the least. I mean, these wicks are making it a pain to chart. Like, where do I even start? Jeez. Like, can I start here? But yeah, I think he's an incredibly intelligent guy, but like, he just doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to crypto. And if you know a lot about blockchain technology or cryptocurrencies at all, then and you listen to him talk, you would realize that really fast. It's not hard to notice. You can realize it within like the first couple minutes of him talking about the subject. And it's kind of embarrassing on his part because you'd think that he would have someone to like look over what he's gonna say and be like, hey, listen, by the way, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. So here, oh, okay. Ooh, this actually is nice. So I was not expecting to see this. So what we have over here is potential rising channel on what's this, BAT? Ooh, sorry, a little bit tired. Looking at this on BAT, of course, rising channel over here, really just bouncing in this range. Ideally, if I'd want to buy, with this breaking your 50 EMA, if this holds below it, I think it's coming back down to support. So with rising channels, though, generally you have these things breaking down towards the downside. And so if that was going to be the case over here, then I would, of course, probably, if I was trading BAT, I'm long-term holding BAT in my portfolio. But if I was trading BAT, then I would like to buy towards support, keep a tight stop loss in. If it works out, it works great. And if it doesn't, I have a tight stop loss because longing at support is what allows me to be able to do that. So it mitigates risk to a very low level and creates good opportunity of risk versus reward. And so that's why I take opportunities likewise. Am I going to be taking this one? I don't know. Maybe if it gets back down here, I'll look at it. But until it gets into a better buying opportunity, I wouldn't buy it right here. It's just not worth it for me. I don't like the risk versus reward of this, and I can like draw this up to show you guys. So yeah, so like this would be like my risk versus reward. Risk versus reward right here is a 3.07, when in reality you could make this significantly better. You'd be risking almost 5% for around 15%, when in reality you could, if you just kept a better stop loss, you could make this probably anywhere like from this area. So then it could be risk versus reward of like a 9.4 with a potential loss of 2% and a potential gain of like 20%. So that's just what having tight stop loss allows you to do in buying at support. It allows you to do stuff like that. Dub said monthly chart lol. Lol, tell me when the short. If you guys don't know, Dubs is a very experienced trader. He knows what he's doing. Michael says engine. Yeah, we can take a look at engine. Engine's pretty much probably just going to be on its downtrend now. Oh wait, do we already have it up here? Yeah, we do. Yeah, so this thing took off to like this thing went right past the moon. It just went straight to Mars. And with this taking off, with parabolic run-ups, it doesn't set any. This thing's just a classic example of an Eiffel Tower. And I love shorting things like this, but I obviously can't short engine. But with looking at this, it needs to hold its 50 EMA. If it doesn't, it's coming right back down into this range. So we'll see. And if it doesn't hold this range, bless this thing, because I hope it does. Like, where is it even hitting over here? Yeah, man, I don't think this is done. I don't think this is done falling. Just my personal thought. If it doesn't hold your 50 EMA, this thing's definitely coming back down further. That's just my thoughts. Overall, I mean, maybe you start seeing a bounce soon. Maybe. Eventually, you are going to have a bounce. But the only problem is that since since it's parabolic up, this is all just twigs and thatches, right? There's like no support in this area. It went parabolic up, so it can go just as easily parabolic back down. and not setting support for itself really hurt itself. And that's why you need to set this thing. You really need things to not go parabolic, because it's way worse for the crypto in the long run. John Smith says Warren doesn't understand crypto, but he still comments. Yeah, and like just like go into his interviews and like watch him talk about it, and it's just pretty obvious. It's kind of frustrating, but it's whatever. I think people realize it pretty fast that he's not educated in the field. That would be like like the best electrician in the world, or like that would be like a great example. That would be like the best like hardware, like a project manager for like a hardware company, for like a computer hardware company, coming in and doing project management for a computer software company. He would be, even though he's the best project manager for computer hardware, if he's in computer software, that's not what he's meant to do. That's not his field. So no matter how intelligent that he is, he's limited by his effectiveness in the fact that he just doesn't know about the field, and he knows way more about hardware than he does about software. And the same thing with Warren Buffett is that he's very good with stocks, but he's very ill-educated on crypto. So it's hard for him to come in and comment effectively because of the fact that he's just limited in his knowledge about the field, and that ultimately hurts him when he talks about this stuff. Brian, welcome. He said like and subscribe, peeps. Yeah, thank you so much. If you guys are enjoying the live stream, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot and really shows your support. We're going to be taking a look at Ethereum now, I think. That's not where I wanted to go. Yeah, so let's go take a look at Ethereum over here. This thing is being purty. Michael says, okay, thanks, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Just a tad, welcome. He said, hey dude, just tuning in. What are we getting into? We were going through a lot of the altcoins. A lot of people were requesting altcoins for me to go over. So I was going over the altcoins, and we've gone over Bitcoin as well. We've been going over some macro, and now we're just looking at Ethereum. But if you want me to go anything and you got any questions, man, just, you know, shoot them in the comment section and in the chat room, and I'd love to answer them. Also, if you guys want to join the Discord, it's completely free, no strings attached. Literally go into the description down below, and there'll be a link that says Discord, and it's completely free to join. It's pretty much where the community resides. And yeah, sorry, I got a couple things I actually have to go through on Discord. But yeah, so this is what it looks like, and this is the Discord, and like this is where we hang out and talk and all this. So it's pretty cool. It's, you know, 100% free, and just if you guys want to join, it's free to you. Anyway, moving on back to Ethereum. So I guess let's talk about this. Did I get through all the comments? Tops monthly OML. Stop skipping my comments. Sorry, Dubs. Sometimes I get caught up in them all. There are exchanges that offer margin options for altcoins. So yeah, I guess Dubs, what are some of the good exchanges that offer margin options for altcoins besides like BitMEX and Kraken? Because those are really the only one. And I know Deribit, but that's only Bitcoin as far as I know. So like, what are the other good exchanges that are used for like leveraging altcoins? Andrew Phillips said, Loom, any thoughts on that one crypto analyst? Thanks and advice. Any thoughts on that one? Oh, yeah. We'll go over that one in a sec. Let me go ahead and go over Ethereum here, because Ethereum really needs to hold its 50 EMA. If it doesn't, I don't like the way it's looking. I'm trying to justify this. I don't know. I just don't like the way it's looking. It looks like it's just kind of falling down. The good news over here is that it looks like it's showing bearish exhaustion, so that might be able to save it. Your RSI is due for a bounce pretty soon, and your stochastics is actually rounding up from an extremely oversold territory of 4.2. So that would all be a bullish area. Again, on your indicators, your candle charts really needs to hold above your 200 EMA. You need to have this candle body closing above it. And above this channel, right? You had this parallel channel. What was resistance is now turned into support, and you've been riding the top of this channel and your 200 EMA. With this happening over here, though, you really need to hold above your 200 EMA. With that being said, let's go take a look at Loom. Discord joined. Welcome, Brian. Ethereum chart is like the same as BTC. Yeah, they look pretty similar. Oh my gosh, this thing has been moving. All right, so with Loom right now, kind of the same deal as a lot of the altcoins. Parabolic up, parabolic down. I mean, this thing's been really parabolic. Geez, this is like this is 4-hour candles, 2 up, 2 down. I don't really know what to tell you about this. It's looks like a pretty lower market cap coin coming from oversold. Honestly, though, your stochastics doesn't look too bad. All this other stuff says, though, that it just got to wind down for a little bit. Eventually, it'll bounce after falling so hard, though. My guess, though, is that if it would bounce anywhere, it'd probably be somewhere over in this range. So, yeah, we'll see if that happens, but I don't know. I feel like there's just not much to talk about on this one. It's just very Wick City-esque. Like, you know, a lot of these things, half the candles are just wicks. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be trading Loom, to be honest. Not right now. And if I was, I mean, as long as it holds over your 50 EMA, I think you're all right, but I just wouldn't be trading something like this. It's just not for me. I would, if I really like this I don't know what they do, but if I really like the project, I would long-term hold it no matter what, but I don't know. This just wouldn't be something that interests me for any kind of trading purposes. What are we going over here? Bruh, Hababi Pro offers margin options. How do you say that? Is it Huabai? Also Poloniex, Poloniex, and are the rest the kind of stretch. Kraken is okay. I've heard mixed feelings on Kraken. So yeah, Habai, I think. Habai Pro and Poloniex. I do not use either of those. But the more you know. Just a tad said, awesome. One of my bigger horses in this race is Nano. The charts are pretty bleak, but I'd be curious to hear what anyone in here thinks of it as a business/product/tech. I don't really know too much about it. Nano used to be, what was it, Dragon Chain, right? I don't know why they changed their name. I love their old name. I think, yeah, they were Dragon Chain, weren't they? I've heard good things about it. Do you have I don't really know too much about it, though. Jules, welcome. He says, do you have an opinion on Ravencoin? I do. I actually really like Ravencoin. If I pull this up, on my top 10 cryptos, I actually have a Ravencoin over here. So, yeah, it's one of the coins that I have been a part of for over a year now. So, I've been with Ravencoin for over a year, and I was mining them last year. I haven't mined them in a while, but I was mining them last year, and I have coins from then. A friend told me about it a long time ago, and kind of been a part of it ever since. Rayblocks, that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know why I thought Rayblocks was such a cool name. I don't know why they would change it. Nano's so, like, overused. Like, if you Google Nano, there's a million things that are going to come up. Like the iPod Nano, like nanotechnology. Like, I just feel like the SEO value is tanked. When you say Rayblocks, people immediately knew what it was. Candles to cancel noise. Where are they at? Even then, dude, it's still just Wick City. Honestly, though, I need to use this more often. I honestly do, because this is really nice. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, again, this just isn't something that really interests me. Now this looks funky on Bitcoin. I'm going back to my normal chart. Duncan said Ravencoin is a great and all, but volume is absolute. I haven't looked at it in a little while. I think it was like mooning not too long ago. but I haven't really looked at it since then. Joel says, yeah, I see it in a lot in the long term. Hold. If I could get a penny. Get it at a penny, I would like to buy. What one were you talking about? Oh, Ravencoin. Yeah, I mean, it used to be like dirt freaking cheap, dude. I don't know, what is it now? It's at 2.5 cents. What did this go up to? Jeez. It almost went up to 4 cents. Oh my gosh. What a run up. Jeez. Jeez, dude. Yeah, I mean, if it could go back to a cent, dude, I would buy it. I don't know if it's going to get back down there, but I'd probably buy more at 1 cent. Obviously, I'd have to see how the chart looks then, but, you know, from this perspective, I mean, I'd probably buy more at 1 cent. Yeah, I see it in the long-term hold. I was looking at it last night, but the daily volume was about 10 BTC. Not worth touching unless you want slippage to have you wait for fills. Yeah, that sounds awful. 10 Bitcoin volume. That's brutal. I think BTC will break support. Volume is so low and has bounced 3 times now. Around 3,800, exhausting support. Yeah, so with our 4-hour... Sorry, is this Bitcoin? Yeah, it is. Volume isn't that bad at the moment. It's been worse. I think you do have to realize, though, that, you know, it's just, I feel like it's just a gray area. I don't know. I don't want to touch Bitcoin right now. I have really mixed feelings in case you guys haven't realized it. It was 3 cents. Yeah, I mean, geez, dude. It was like 3.8, 3.9. It's crazy. Anyone else see the BNB candles on Hit BTC? I have not. We should take a look at. Let's look at that. Hold on, I got a couple of Discord messages. Top us on the monthly. I'm sure. Oh, okay. All right, let's take a look at one thing before we go to BNB. What is this? Special request. Is this? I think. Top Ship Inc. Is this what you're talking about, W? I don't ignore your comments either. Not through a lot of your comments. Is that what you were talking about, though, Dubs? Top S? The, like, shipping one? Top Ships Inc. Anybody else see the BNB candle? Yeah, so we'll take a look at BNB, and then we'll go back to Bitcoin, and then we'll wrap this live stream up after we go through Bitcoin one more time. XBT clearly hitting a support zone. Good for a quick swing. Good for a quick swing up while longs accumulate before really bear. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. So clearly hitting support zone. Completely agree with that. You know, hopefully it holds, because I'd love to see a breakout towards the upside, but you know, time will tell. That you ignored. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I don't really take a look at stocks on here, but we have a special request from Mr. Dubs. What happened to my candle chart? There it is. Jeez. Oh my god. What happened here? Wait, what am I... What exactly am I looking at here, Dubs? Monthly candles. Okay. Zoom out. Let's see if we can fix this a little bit. I think I broke it. I don't think we can look at it on the monthly. What in the world? I don't think it's going to work, my dude. Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Let's look at the 1 day. All right, here we go. So we can see it on the 1 day at least. Jeez. It's like lagging out my chart. So if this is what it looks like. What even is this? Potential swing trade? I don't know. We're skipping this. I don't know what this is. All right, back to Bitcoin. Moving back through the comments over here. I gotta switch my candle chart back, and then we'll take a look at this for the final time. Not much volume on BNB. Oh yeah, that's what we said. We said we were gonna take a look at BNB. BNB to the USD. I mean, yeah, this thing is freaking performing so well right now, dude, and it hasn't even retraced like at all. It's actually insane. All the way up to, what is this, $15, $16? If you would have bought this at the low of $4, you would literally be up 400% without leverage in what? In 3 months? Yeah. So if you would have bought this 3 months ago, you would be up 400%. That's insane without leverage. That's ridiculous. 400%. One coin. Looks like over here, it's honestly, to be honest, this is a freaking daily chart. If we look at this from a 4 hour, it looks like it's setting up a bull flag. Look, like, oh my goodness, this is clean. Yeah, like very clear pennant formation. Right? You're seeing lower highs, higher lows. What this does is it indicates to us that this is a pennant. You have bull pull, bull flag. Well, I guess it's technically like a neutral flag, but the fact that this is a bull pull makes this a bull flag because it's a pennant and it goes with the trend. Pennants always go with the trend, which probably makes this about a 60% chance of breaking up, 40% chance of breaking down. And yeah, so pretty neutral, but like still like leaning towards breaking up here. I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, Bitcoin to the, or Binance coin to the US dollar over here is just not slowing down. We've seen it form pennants over here, like, you know, clear bull flag right here, bull flag right here, bull flag down here, another bull flag. Not sure what this zone was, but, you know, potentially another bull flag over here. So, man, I can't believe how good this coin's doing right now. And another one you could say, like, even over here, right? Could say, like, something like, even like this. So, like, bull flag this thing up, dude. We'll see. I mean, it's touching support and resistance pretty hard here. So we'll have to see if it, like, really starts wanting to break out. Your indicators and oscillators, I mean, this thing's saying bullish. Your 4-hour MACD is saying bullish. Your RSI is very neutral, could be due for a bounce. And your stochastics is very neutral as well. Looking, I don't know, it's just straight neutral. But your MACD is definitely pointing towards bullish sentiment. Only problem I have over here is that if this does break down, with the exception of your 50 EMA, you really don't have a lot in this area. So if this does break down, like, it could get pretty nasty, which, you know, no one likes. But, like, geez, dude, that thing, I mean, it just looks strong. The fact that it's forming a pennant on top of this breakout tells me that this thing's strong, you know. That's crazy. Can't believe that. 400% in 3 months. And that's like a major. It's not some like low altcoin. It's like one of the top performing coins by market cap. Top S went to 5.2 billion to 90 cents. Lamau. Can it keep dropping? I don't know. Prolonged alt season kind of coincides with Binance upgrade too. Yeah, I mean, dude, Binance has just been freaking popping. Sean Smith. Oh, I didn't even see that he joined. Welcome, Soy. Great to have you. Let's see this chart that you posted. Also, Soy, where are you at? I need to... Soy, say something in chat now. let's see this chart that you gave us, Mr. Sean. What is this? Ethereum to Bitcoin via Binance Exchange. So this is Ethereum BTC forming potentially a pennant as well. Bouncing off support very nicely. So yeah, I see what you're saying. If this was, oh man, I wish that was a US dollar chart because I think it's more significant. And sorry, I have a lot of messages. I just got 8 more messages. Oh my god. All right. So saying that this is potentially a pennant, I would like to see this on the USD chart because I think it would be far more significant in price, in like the influence it would have on price. But even, and so I guess we can go ahead and just throw this up on my chart at this point. So looking at this, yeah, I mean, dude, this thing's looking strong. I haven't charted this thing to BTC in a while because on BitMEX all I do is trade it on USD pairing. Wait, what did I get wrong here? Oh, that would be it. All right. Yeah, so I see what you're saying. Yeah, obviously, yeah, it's very close to support over here. And if it can hold, look at that bear trap, or bolt bear trap. Yikes. So if it gets back up to this area, we can even like rally this guy like a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, clearly in an area of support, it really needs to cross over its EMAs. The fact that it's about to have a death cross on its 4-hour and that it's getting rejected from your 200 EMA is not too promising for me. But it's again, it's at a very heavy level of support that it's had for a long time now. So yes, this is a very strong support, but you're also getting some very bearish things over here. Your MACD 4-hour saying bullish. This actually looks really good. This I really like. That is actually really bullish. Yeah, I really like that. So your RSI is very bullish, and this is bullish as well. So with your stochastics going overextended and rounding towards the upside here, it's bullish as well. How overextended did it go? Went to about a 4.7. So, you know, pretty deep, to be honest. The deepest it's been since January of 2019. So early January. Volume's pretty good, to be honest, right now too. So Ethereum to the Bitcoin pairing on Binance is actually pretty good as well. So if it can hold this area, I mean, and really, I think the big thing is going to be getting above these these EMAs. If you can get above there, then I think it could really be pretty good. He says you gotta earn it. I think he already earned it. Would love to hear about energy. Yes. I think someone asked about that a while ago and I forgot about it. Energy to BTC. Oh. Energy coin. So unfortunately, it's not on here, so I can't chart it, and I don't know what it is or what it does, so I can't give my thoughts on it, unfortunately, because I can't chart it and I don't know the fundamentals of it. Dubs is on his hiatus. Brent needs a new setup for reading chat. So much hate. Hey, I read your comment, Dubbies. Don't you worry. That's why I gave you the wrench. Now you have the power. Just need Bitcoin to hold a... Yeah, you really do. You really need Bitcoin to hold, and this is what really needs to hold. I think more so than just this holding, I think this needs to break this area. That's really what it needs to do. I think holding here isn't going to be enough. I think it has to break your EMAs. Yeah, it was just given. We missed Dubs in his absence. Could you look at one more last thing? NEM, yeah, for sure, man. NEM, BTC. It's not on here either. So unfortunately, NEM is not on here either. So I cannot chart that one either, fortunately. But we can go back to BTC. And looking at Bitcoin, we have pretty much holding the same price range. Has came back down about $8 since we last checked it out. Overall, I think the macro of Bitcoin here is pretty bullish. I mean, again, the macro trend here is this ascending triangle pattern. And as long as you stay in this, it's going to be a pretty bullish thing for crypto. With your golden cross on your 4 hour still in effect, your EMAs are pretty separated from each other, which is pretty healthy. And again, yeah, so I think that if this does break down, you're going to really have two areas. Your 200 EMA in the bottom of the support range. There are like a couple other targets, which I've thrown in Patreon, and I've already said them on stream, so I don't want to go reiterate myself too much. But I think the two main targets here are going to be your 200 EMA, your 50 EMA on your 1 day chart, and then your bottom of overall support over here for the ascending triangle. Below that, you have your previous bottom, and personally, I believe that this ascending triangle in the macro is going to play out, even if that means touching support here. In a worst case scenario, the good news is that you just have such little support above here in this area that if this does break out, it would pretty much lead you right back to the top of this guy. And if you get back up to the top of this guy, you're at the top of an ascending triangle. And if you're at the top of an ascending triangle, the macro is even nicer because the resistance to 5.5K is almost non-existent. So there's big arguments for both sides. I think the overall macro, though, is bullish. And again, that's the macro. That's not the micro. So it's not like what I'm trading, but it's the overall sentiment that I have. I guess the overall reason I bought a good chunk of Bitcoin back at like 3.3K. So I bought in this area, one, because I viewed it as a really good buying opportunity. And with this move coming, it was just a good, it's just a good area to buy. So I bought a very... I bought a nice chunk of Bitcoin over in here. I think that's about it, though. I think we've literally covered about everything that we can over here. So what I'll do here is I'll chart a Bitcoin a little bit more. So I'm gonna hang around on the stream. I'm gonna answer your guys' questions, whatever you guys have, and I'm gonna answer your guys. Yeah, and so I'll just keep charting and we'll just chill. So I usually do this at the end of every stream. I hang out, answer whatever questions you guys have. We have a little chill part where I answer your questions, and I don't know, it's like the chill area that we do for like the last 10-15 minutes of stream every stream. The one thing that I do want to do is what I do at the end of every video, and that is shill my Patreon. So I've given you guys hard technical analysis and fundamentals for the last hour and 22 minutes. So I'm going to take the next 2 minutes to break down my Patreon and what it is. So my Patreon essentially is something that you guys pay every month if you want to, and there's 2 tiers to this. The tier 1 supporter being that you guys get my Bitcoin updates explaining where I believe Bitcoin is going and why. You guys get me teaching technical analysis in there. I critique your charts and give constructive criticism and feedback to help you learn more technical analysis, which is really cool. I also give like my personal tips, like trading tips that I think are important to know for every trader. I also give my complete insight on the current and future market movements, and then bonus access to me for questions that you might have. And I don't think I actually need to add it to here, but one thing that I missed on here is that I actually tell the Patreons, the tier 1 Patreons, when I enter and exit trades. So then that's not meant to copy me necessarily. I can't stop you from copying me, but I do tell everyone in there when I am exiting and entering into trades, I guess for educational purposes. So that is another really cool feature that I've started doing recently, and there has been good feedback from it. But yeah, this is the Patreon. If you guys also want to look at the tier 2, it's a really cool way to get plugged into the community for cheap. And it's $2 a month, and essentially every 2 weeks you guys get to vote on it. You guys create the topic, and then you guys vote on the topic. So whatever topics you as the Patreons create, you guys then vote on those topics as to which one you guys want me to make. And the one with the most votes, I do make a video about on this channel. And that's why you'll see the ones that look like, what is it? The videos that look like this. Right here, the ones with these dark colored backgrounds are the ones that are Patreon videos. So these are videos that the Patreons have said that they wanted and got upvoted, and this is the reason why I've made them. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. So if you guys are interested, there's a link to this in the description down below. By no means are you obligated to do this. I still love all of you guys anyway. But if you guys do want to like financially support me and get a little bit of cool stuff in return, that's the way to do it. But yeah, I'll just chill in here now and we'll answer whatever kind of questions that you guys do have. And we'll do a little bit of charting here. I think I'm going to go do some charting on, probably a little bit on Bitcoin, but I'm also going to go chart Cardano at the moment, compared to BTC. So that's it for the bulk of this live stream. Now enters our 10-15 minutes of chill, where we just chart and chill and answer questions. But I appreciate all of you guys for coming in here, and I hope you guys have had a good past hour and a half. Yeah, man, wow, we went for an hour and a half tonight. Also, if you guys did enjoy the stream, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, helps out the channel a lot. And those are completely free, which is all the much better. Yep, we bullish, hoping enough bears stick around to keep the prices in the buying range for a bit. That would be nice. I really want to see the price go up towards the upside. As much as I short Bitcoin, I really do want it to go up in price. Check my Discord. All right, I will. Also, if you guys want to join the Discord, completely free. It's where it's where the community resides, completely free. Click the link in the description down below, and you guys can see our Discord. Welcome to our new members as well, because I see we have new members that just joined. 50 EMA close to crossing above the 100 EMA on the one-day chart. That's actually pretty significant. I don't use the 100 MA, but I don't use any of the MAs, but it's really good for macro. And so if that's happening on a macro scale, that's really good. He says, we shall see. Poker Third says, good stream. I also need to poker. Where are you at? Poker, say something in chat again. I really wish I could get into the stream sometime. Maybe through Discord, voice comm. Yeah, I think, Dubs, we got to get you a good mic, and then we can get you on stream. Because you're like the king of like mini alt swing trades. Like, things that I would probably never look at. Rob G, welcome. He says, do you see this as an ascending triangle forming on BTC? And if so, is it possible to be a bear flag? Yes, it is. So one, I think the answer to both of those questions are yes. Do I think it's an ascending triangle on the overall form of BTC? Absolutely, I do. And do I think that this could be a bear flag? Absolutely. Just because it's in an ascending triangle doesn't mean that it can't go down anymore. And okay, again, we talked about supports already, being like your 200 EMA on your 4 hour, your 50 EMA on your 1 day, previous support down here, and I think we had one other one on our 4 hour. No, actually I think that was about it. There was a couple like little ones, like consolidation areas and previous lows, but like besides that, like it could very easily come back down to like this range over in here, of like, what is that, 3750 or something, and then, or even towards the bottom of this, you know, former support, you know, the overall support for this thing. It could very easily come back down to either of those ranges and then rally back up towards the upside. So if it were to dip here, I wouldn't be too nervous, you know. I really wouldn't be, because of the fact that as long as this support holds down here, I'm really bullish on Bitcoin. Now, if this support breaks, I don't think it's going to be too good. And I think that's really going to hurt the overall macro of crypto. Not like crippling it, but like, you know, this is a really nice trend to have. And if this plays out, like this would be an absolute unit of a trade. Like you can't say like if it came back down here and it held and it was coming back up towards the top of this ascending triangle, like especially if it breaks it and you just have no like no resistance over here. Like it would be, oh my god, it would be such a nice trade. So that's my thoughts, dude. Hey now, yeah, there you go. I got you the wrench. Poker Throat, much appreciation to Poker Throat. He's been around for a long time supporting me. He deserves the wrench. Jablowski says, Jablowski69 says, is it a good time to buy? I can't answer that question for you. I have already purchased my Bitcoin at around $3,300. Well, I made a bunch of purchases. I would say the big bulk order that I've been waiting for, I purchased at around $3,300, and I'm not purchasing anymore in this range. I'm just trading this a ton. So I'm really trying to accumulate through trading rather than just buying, because the way I look at it is, if I can accumulate a Bitcoin trading, or I can go spend, $4,000 on one, I'd rather just do it through trading. I'll probably still be putting money into crypto too. I just have so many expenses right now. Like, I'm becoming an LLC, and I'm also a college student, and I have to pay for TradingView and my editing software and my VPN, and it's just like a lot of expenses that add up. So I'm trying to just trade crypto instead of just purchasing it in masses, because I just don't have the money for it with all the other expenses I have. Look at my RSI divergence forming. Oh, shoot. Dubs. Would you look at that? Oh, let's take a look. We're on our daily right now. It is forming. What is that? That is on perpetual inverse swap contracts, BitMEX. Interesting. Oh, that's the 30-minute. Visible in the hour too. On the hour though, I don't like how it is. I don't really chart on the hour, just because it's not because it's bad. Like, the majority of people probably chart on the 1 hour. I use the 4 hour because that's what I'm best at. It's just my preference. So I don't like how it's getting a lower low on your RSI. I think that's pretty rough on your 1 hour. But it's going to start entering into a support zone fairly soon. Because what you'll do is, if you get down here into like anywhere really, as long as it's above this point, it's not going to be that bad. If you get like anywhere in this RSI and get a higher swing low, that would be really juicy. And I think that really coincides with the same thing with the 4 hour, is with that this thing just needs to come down a little bit more before it bounces. That's just my thoughts on it though. And again, that's a 4 hour, so a little bit more of a macro time scale than the 1 hour, but just my initial thoughts on it. All right. Wow, says 4th time it's going to bounce. Let's check it. We'll see. It's dropped another $4 here, all the way down to $3,804, about $3,805. It'd be cool to see like a Twizzler double bottom here, maybe, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, to be honest. I don't know. I don't. This is exactly where I'm not trading Bitcoin right here. I just don't know. It's in such a free floating agent range right now. I just don't want to trade it. I have a short in on. I don't know. I have a lot of contracts in right now. I can't even read this number. Let's check. 1, 2, 3. I have 100. I think I'm shorting like 100,000 ADA. It's not that much, but like, I don't know how many contracts it is. That's the big thing. What is that? 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's like 100,000 contracts, I think, for ADA right now. Yeah. So I'm shorting Cardano, not too heavily. It's about 100,000 contracts of Cardano, and it's up about 24% at the moment, which is nice. So I know I talked to Poker about this because he's a Patreon, and I was posting this in the Patreon. He was on I can't believe that they don't have that on Kraken. That's so stupid. My first crypto movie is coming out. I saw that. I was gonna say something about that on stream, but I forgot. There's a movie coming out called Crypto, and I have a looking at it from the trailer, it looks like it's gonna be the most like stereotypical version of crypto. It's gonna be like this guy who made like all the money or something, found out people money laundering crypto with like cartels and gangs and the Russian mafia, and then there's gonna be like people getting caught up in like fights and dying and drugs and hostages and money laundering and like all the bad things that you could stereotype in crypto. I feel like are gonna be in this movie, and then they're gonna like fast forward to like 2018 where like people are just making so much money, and then someone's gonna be like, I told you so. I feel like it's gonna be like the most stereotypical movie ever. It's probably gonna be really cool, and I'll watch it because it's about crypto, but I have a feeling it's gonna be like a super stereotypical movie. But hey, I'm down. I'll go watch it. Name of the movie, Crypto. Look at the trailer, mass adoption is coming. No, but in all seriousness, I think what that does is a lot for the macro of cryptocurrency. The fact that there's an entire movie about it with like Kurt Russell and what's the other guy's name? I think it's Lucas something. I forget his name. Lucas something. Hemsworth, I think. Lucas Hemsworth. The fact that they're like having these actors in a movie entirely about cryptocurrency says a lot about like what it's doing and the name that it's making. Bitcoin's moving back down here, 3,800 on the dot, 38.02. New 4-hour candle opened, and it is looking a tad bit bearish. There is a support here for BTC. Let's go check it out. Ooh. Yeah, there really is. That's a good chart. XBT to USD. Yeah, I mean, dang. I'm looking at it on, what am I looking at it on? Coinbase? Yeah, on Coinbase, it's not that clean. That looks a whole lot better. Makes sense why it's stopping here then. Also, I was telling this to, I think it was Wow. I think Wow's the guy I was talking to in Discord before this. Wow, 3,800 on the dot. It's testing hard right now. No, so the reason that it was stopping in this area is just because previous consolidation range, right over in here, previous consolidation range now being used as support. Looks like it's trying to break through it though, man. I mean, this thing is, wow. $3,800.01. So this thing is really close. I'd be careful that if this breaks, I'd just be careful. I can't tell you guys what to do, but definitely make sure you guys are careful in this range. Again, the only thing that I have in right now is about 100,000 contracts of Cardano shorting it. So that is all. Which I don't even know how much I'm up to right now. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Wow. It's actually doing better than I thought it was. Yeah, it does look strong. Yeah, I mean, that support looks pretty nice. I'm going to be honest with you, Sean. I really do like that support. I think, though, if it breaks... where is that picture? If it breaks, though, like, it's not going to be too fun. You come right back down to here if it breaks, to be honest. Like, I think you blow through this guy, and then you come right back down to this area. Let me go ahead and chart some Cardano here. You should watch out with Cardano also. If BTC holds, Cardano flies up again. Yeah, for sure. I'm scalping it just right now for the time being. I guess scalping, I don't know. It looked like it was topping out over here. This is so, I don't know. I don't know if I can go through with it because I just posted, well, you guys can already see it. It's too late. Well, I'll pretty much go through with you guys what I went through with the Patreons earlier. So I was telling the Patreons earlier that I was shorting Cardano Not only was it at the top of resistance over here, looking like it's hitting some heavy resistance, hence the giant wicks, and it started this red candle over here for me, and that was enough for me to really start getting hesitant about this area. And at first just scalp it, and then immediately what I did is I saw double bearish divergence on the MACD, and I saw double bearish divergence on my RSI, and I saw my, again, triple bearish divergence on my stochastics. And so with all these things over here, and with this thing being very extended up, I don't know if it's overextended, but with this thing being extended so much towards the upside, I was definitely okay with shorting something this high up. And along with all these indicators, those are the reasons why I told the Patreons, I said, hey, these are the reasons, and this is where I'm entering. And I did enter into this short, and I think I said, I don't know, let's go pull up the date, the timestamp. I think I set it at 8:41. I was entering into a Cardano short, and I posted the information about it, and it has worked out so far. So this has been juicy. So the things that I'm really looking for in this area are, this is what I was actually looking for, to be honest. I was looking at previous, I guess both of this area, previous resistance turn into support, and that's exactly what's happening over here. And this thing's falling pretty nice. And we can actually do a fib too. Let's do a fib. So maybe we see our 382 get touched. Maybe that's too greedy, but we'll see. I'm holding it for the time being. I might just sell it before I go to sleep. But it's very volatile. That's the one thing I learned. I'm on 10x leverage right now, so this thing is volatile. I think I'm on 10. Yeah, I am on 10x. 15-minute diverge definitely forming. Could be key in our recovery. Yeah, I see that. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So this is what Dubs was talking about on our 15-minute RSI. Consistently higher highs or higher lows over here on our 15-minute chart. I don't really look at the 15-minute, but that's still something to kind of take note of. You know, potential. It definitely has potential, is what I'm trying to say. But over here, I don't know. I also saw that this thing was very due for a retrace. You had all these crazy freaking, you had like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 4-hour green volume candles in a row that were just massive. Along with everything else over here, like just telling me to short this thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting happy right now. Probably will just exit it before I go to bed. We'll see. It's probably not something with how volatile this thing is. I don't know. I probably don't want to let it. I don't really want to sleep on it. I'll probably just take the whatever I'm at, the 25%, and run. But I think that's about it. I don't really have too much else to talk about. This thing, look at that breakout. Ooh. Look at that falling wedge breakout. This was, oh my god, this was something that we talked about on stream before it happened. Do you guys remember? We were talking about how this is a falling wedge with like a very classic textbook bear trap. We were talking about how beautiful this entire thing was. And at first glance, it looks like it's just like a horrible, sloppy falling wedge. But you take a closer look at this, and this is like the most beautiful falling wedge like one could ever ask for. You know, obviously the bear trap sucks, but you have a beautiful falling wedge. And with this, you actually fall out of it, double bottom, come back up, so you see support from your double bottom, resistance from previous support of the falling wedge, comes back down, comes back up into the falling wedge, uses it as resistance, immediately starts using support and resistance again, then breaks out like a classic falling text, like a classic falling wedge should, and right towards the upside. Like, this thing was just an absolute beautiful of a trade. I really like how this formed. I just think it was such a good learning point for technical analysis. Like, bear trap, like the most textbook bear trap possible. Like right back to previous bottom, wicks back up, uses former support as resistance. Like, the whole thing's so clean. But yeah, I think I am going to go ahead and end the live stream here. If you guys want to join the Discord, there's a link to that in the description down below. If you guys have questions, you guys can shoot them over to me over Discord or via email. If you guys want to join the Patreon, there's also a link to that in the description down below as well. And if you guys did enjoy the video, hit that like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. And I would love to see you guys in the next stream. And I've had an absolute blast the past hour and 45 minutes here. But I am going to go ahead and chill out, finalize my trades for the night, and probably prepare for bed because it's about 9, almost 12:30 actually here. So hope you guys did have a good time. If you guys did, that's awesome. Let me know what you learned, and I will see you guys in the next episode.